Leadership style. Choosing the right style for your circumstances. Do your research to know what a great leader made of? Martin Luther King, Steve and Winston Churchill can believe so many ways to get people as an indication. Fortunately, entrepreneurs and psychologists have appropriate means easily developed to describe the main types of leadership. With an understanding of these species and their effects, you can develop your own leadership approach and a more effective leader. We will look at the common leadership style in this section. We will explore situations where these species can be effective with your people. Adjust your approach to leadership. The economy is a management style as leadership transformation that is often very effusive. The transformational leader must inspire integrity. A common vision towards the future, motivate the team to achieve objectives, which manages supply. You must adapt your style to adapt to a situation or a specific group. Therefore, it is useful to have a thorough knowledge of the different styles of leadership. After all, we'll be more familiar with the approaches that will lead to more effective tools that you can use. See different styles which you can use for your leadership style. 1. Transactional leadership. In this style, team members to obey their leaders if they agree to take the job. The business, generally the organization, pays the team members in exchange for their commitment and compliance. If work does not correspond to a reasonable level, leader can punish the members of the team in it. While this may seem like the paternalistic control and offers some advantages of transactional leadership. First, it shows the roles and responsibilities of all leadership style. Another advantage is that since the members of the judge of the transaction management team for the performance, people who are ambitious and motivated by external rewards often bloom, including compensation. The drawback of this style of leadership is that team members can do much to improve the satisfaction with their work. It can be closed. It is actually a type of management, is not the style of true leadership that focuses on short-term assets, a serious limitation for knowledge. 2. Authoritarian leadership. This style gives full power over their people, its extreme form. Except leader, others have little chance to express their suggestions, either they are on the team or in the interest to the organization. The advantage of an authoritarian leadership is that it is incredibly effective. Decisions are taken quickly, and the job is done. The downside is that the majority of people that annoy treated this way. Therefore, the authoritarian leadership often leads to elevated absenteeism and towering attendance. It is useful in routine work and unqualified. In these cases, the benefits of control can overcome the disadvantages. Authoritarian leadership is often preferable to use in times of crisis, which require quick decisions, not controversy. For example, the military often uses the authoritarian style of leadership. Senior commanders are responsible for the rapid production of complex troops to focus their attention and energy to accomplish tasks and missions decisions. 3. Bureaucratic leadership. Executives' bureaucratic works by the book, strictly follows the rules and ensure that people follow the procedures exactly. This is the appropriate leadership style to work with risk management works, toxic or dangerous heights, or where large quantities. Bureaucratic management style is important in daily sane tasks, such as manufacturing. The drawback of this style of leadership is that it is ineffective in groups and organizations, which is based on flexibility, creativity, and innovation. Most of the time, the bureaucratic leader reaches their positions because of their ability to adapt and maintain the rules, not because of qualifications or experience. This can lead to resentment if team members are not aware of the value and suggestion. 4. Charismatic leadership. In this, leaders are energetic to motivate others to move forward by inspiring them. The enthusiasm and commitment of the teams are a huge advantage. The downside of charismatic leaders is that they believe more in themselves and their teams. This can increase the risk on a project. A charismatic leader may believe they're doing something wrong, notwithstanding when others warn against the course is that feeling of invincibility can destroy a group or organization. Symmetrical in the eyes of fans, success is directly linked with the presence of a charismatic leader. Therefore, the charismatic leadership brings great responsibility and must be a long-term commitment by the chief. 5. Participatory democratic leaders. Democrats make that final decision leaders, but they are the team members through the process of decision-making. It encourages creativity and team members often to participate actively in programs and decisions. There are several advantages. The most appropriate approach when working within a team is pompous. The disadvantage is that democratic leadership can generally prevent situations where speed and efficiency is seminal. For example, during a crisis, valuable time staff people gather input. Another disadvantage is that some may not have the staff or expertise to enter information on quality. 6. Laissez-faire leadership. The French term meaning let it be and is described as leaders let their people do on their own. Can laissez-faire leaders give their teams the total freedom to do their work and their own deadlines? They support and advise staff resources when necessary, but otherwise not participate. It is useful when regular feedback and monitoring their team. This is likely to be effective if the individual team members' experience, skills, self-starter. The main advantage of the laissez-faire leadership that you bring your team members can have as much independence that leads to satisfy the team. Disadvantage is that it can be harmful if the employee to manage their time well, or if they have to do their jobs effectively not have the knowledge, skills, and motivation. 7. Process-oriented. Leaders focus on others to do the job and may autocratic. The leaders also do other important tasks, such as creating and maintaining performance standards. The advantage of the task-oriented leadership that the deadlines are met, and it is particularly useful for employees who do not manage their time well guaranteed. However, because there are task-oriented leaders tend to know much about their employee well-being, motivation, and retention cause problems. 8. Leading people-oriented/relations-oriented. People-oriented leadership, managers fully focused upon the organization, support and development to the people in their team. This is the style tends to promote the participation and cooperation, including creativity. Leaders treat all staff equally in this style, and it's against the task-oriented style. They are friendly and approachable. They pay attention to all team members, staff needs, and provide help or advice when it's requiring. The advantage is the creation of a leadership-style people-oriented team leader whom everyone wants to be part of. Employees are often more productive and take risks due to the support when they need it from the leader. The disadvantage is that some leaders can perform this approach too far. They could develop their teams on project tasks or instructions. In practice, use most leaders of both species more task-oriented and people-oriented leadership together. 9. Servant leadership. A description of the concept, founded by Robert Greenleaf in 1970, is a leader often not officially recognized as such. If someone comes at any level within an organization by fulfilling members' needs and requirements is called a servant leaders, Robert Greenleaf in 1970, Mind Tools. In this style, the whole team to be involved in decision-making. But leading from behind is often servant leaders prefer to stay out of the limelight and allow their employees to accept recognition for their hard work. Our supporters of a servant leadership model is a good way to move forward because of its values, ideals, and ethics. This is the approach that will create and develop positivity in organizational cooperation culture in people. However, others believe in competitive leadership situations. People left practice servant leadership can find you behind the leaders with different styles of leadership. The management style is also time to apply properly. It is ill-suited in cases where you make quick decisions or deadlines. Although you can use in many cases servant leadership, it is often handy in politics or in positions of elected leaders, staff, committee, organization, or community to meet. 10. Transformational leadership. In business situations, this style is the best. Transformational leaders are encouraging the team and himself to do the best. This leads to high productivity and the participation of all in their team. The disadvantage is that while transformational leadership of a leader is over enthusiasm for the team, he or she must be supported detail men. In this style, leaders take initiatives that seek new value. It is also important to use different leadership styles as needed. This is depending before the people you say, and the situation that you are in. In business, often transformational leadership is the best leadership style to use. However, suit no one leadership style all cases, it helps to have an understanding of other styles. Among the most important styles of leadership: 1. Transaction leadership. 2. Authentic leadership. 3. Bureaucratic leadership. 4. Charismatic leadership. 5. Involved in democratic/governance. 6. Laissez-faire leadership. 7. Task-oriented leadership. 8. People/relationship-oriented leadership. 9. Servant leadership. 10. Transformation leadership. Advice: learn more about the pros and cons of each type. You can make your approach to suit your case. Situation leadership theory of Hersey-Blanchard. Selection of the appropriate style. What kind of leaders it is important to the employees. You have just been training the new member of your team. Now it is ready for use immediately. Give him the information that you need to put in the company's database, and then rush to a meeting. When you return later in the evening, you will not be disappointed that he did not do anything. He did not know what to do, and is not encouraged to contact for advice and help. He did not get to the details of this time. While you can blame the workers, the truth is that as much to blame as to whom? Find the solution for this to avoid it. Ken Blanchard and Paul Hersey express their expertise that leaders do not agree on the maturity of the person or group. They happen to say their leadership style. If style and maturity do not match, the result is a failure. In this part, we will review Hersey-Blanchard's situational leadership theory, and we explain how it is used in a variety of leadership. Dr. Paul Hersey, professor and author of The Situational Leader, and Ken Blanchard, author of the bestseller The 1-Minute Manager, created among other things. The theory is that instead of using just one style, successful leaders should change their leadership styles based on the maturity of the people they say and the details about the task. With this, theory should be enable leader more or less to focus to the task, and more or less on the relationship among the people they lead, depending on what is required to get the job done successfully. Mind tools. There are 4 types of leadership. Telling, S1, leaders tell their people exactly what to do and how to do it. Sale, S2, leaders still provide information and advice, but there is more communication with followers. Leaders sell to get their message to the crew on board. Participation, S3, leaders focus more on the relationship and less on the direction. The leader works with the team and shares decision-making responsibility. Delegation, S4, leaders pass most of the responsibility on the trailer or group. Monitoring progress, still leaders, but they are less involved in decisions. As you can see, S1 and S2 types focused on getting the job done. S3 and S4 are more ways to work independently with the ability of employees. Hersey and Blanchard, 2013, Mind Tools. Maturity levels. According to Hersey and Blanchard, is to know when to use each style depends largely on the maturity of the person or group you say. Maturity breaks it down into 4 different levels. M1, the people at the level of maturity at the lowest level on the scale. They lack the knowledge, skills, or confidence in their own work, and often they need a push to take over the task. M2, at this level, followers may be willing to work at the task, but they still do not have the skills to do it successfully. M3, where the fans are ready and willing to help in the task. They have more capabilities than the M2 group, but they are still not confident about their abilities. M4, the fans will be able to focus on their own work. You have high security and stronger skills, and set about the task. Hersey and Blanchard, Mind Tools, 2013. The Hersey-Blanchard model maps each leadership style for each maturity, as shown below. The most appropriate leadership style maturity level. M1, Min S1 duration, telling/director. M2, medium maturity, limited capabilities S2, sales/training. M3, medium maturity, higher skills, but lack of confidence S3, participating/support. M4, high maturity S4, delegate. To use this model, consider the maturity of the individuals in your team. The table above shows then Hersey and Blanchard leadership as the most effective for people who have a level of maturity. Examples of leadership style. You are about to leave for an extended vacation, and your tasks will be handled by an experienced colleague. He is very aware of your duties, and is happy to do the job. Rather than trust his knowledge and skills to do the work, spend hours creating a detailed list of tasks to be responsible and instructions on how to make them. The result? Get your work done, but you damage the relationship with your colleagues in your lack of confidence. He was M4 maturity, and leadership style does you use S1 instead of S4, which would be more suitable. You have just put under the charge of the new team. It is the first time working among these people. As long as you can say they are some of the skills necessary to achieve the department, but not all of them. The good news is that they are excited and ready to do the work. They estimate that they have the maturity level of M3. You can use the S3 leadership style matching. You coach them through the project goals, pushing and teaching when needed, but mostly so that they can make their own decisions, as a result of his relationship with you to strengthen the efforts of staff and success. Mind Tools, 2013. Not all employees and all employees are created equal. Hersey and Blanchard argue that leaders are more effective when they use a leadership style to the individuals or groups they say. Begin to identify with what you say. Do your followers know the task? They are willing and excited to do the work? On the maturity scale M1 M4, and then use the appropriate leadership style for the evaluation. Mind Tools, 2013.